My name is Danny Worsnop. I occasionally sing in a band called Asking Alexandria, and we just released an album called Where Do We Go From Here? You can listen to it and buy it everywhere. Besides me, everyone has children. Apparently, they're very expensive and they require food. So listen to it so that they can feed their children and so that I can buy sports cars.
Very good, mate. Thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely.
So, we've got here that it comes out over in Australia on August the 25th, but is it already out over there?
No, it comes out 25th here also, 3 days.
Very, very cool. So, like, I know you've had a few albums out there already, mate, but like, does it get any easier the more you put out? Like, do you
One or
still
two.
feel nervous or anxious, or does it sort of come easy to deal with?
No, I don't. It always sounds bad to say, but I don't mean it in a bad way. I don't care about releases. Um, this has been our album for the last year, and as of 3 days from now, it's not our album anymore. It's everyone else's album. So a lot of people look at the release date as the start of the album. For me, it's the end. So on what is it, Monday morning when it comes out or whenever it is? No, on Friday. That's when I get to start the next one.
Yeah, very cool. Well, before you start the next one, we'll talk a little bit about this one, mate. So, tell us a bit more about where
All
do we
right.
go from here from a musical point of view and what you're going for with it.
We very much didn't want to try anything new. We didn't want to reinvent the wheel. We didn't want it to be anything exploring or adventurous. It was supposed to be a look back on the last 15 years and kind of be a snapshot of everything thus far. From sonically touching on everything we've done prior to thematically going back to that to kind of subjects that have been that have resonated with people from those albums instead of it being a kind of a personal record for us. It's definitely a for them record.
And is the title more meant as a statement or is it a question?
It's a question. It's one I ask myself a lot, and I think everyone should be asking themselves all the time. I'm very goal motivated and orientated. So I mean, in my life, that's the question that I ask the most because it's regardless of a success or a failure or a win or a loss. That's kind of the first question because you got to figure out what the next step is. Um, and even down to when things are good, when things are bad, that's the only question we can really ask ourselves.
And to date, you've released the songs Psycho, Bad Blood, and Dark Void. So, say someone that saw someone's heard of the album, are they a good sonic representation of what to expect?
Yeah, especially Dark Void. I feel like that's a good amalgamation of everything from the last 15 years, and a good representation of what the album is there to represent as a whole.
I noticed looking through every single, like the single covers have all got an image of the same car, but in different landscapes. Like, do they tell a story when they're all put together?
Um, yes and no. I mean, they're representative rather than they're not a cohesive story in themselves, but it's the same car from the music videos from the fifth album. It's the same character figure from the third album. It's the same color palette as the first record. So it's that as well as the sonic aspect to it was again just reference to the last 15 years and all the records that we put out during that time.
We've sort of touched on this already, mate, but we'll go into a bit more detail. Like you've said yourself, and the press release also says that the album is a culmination of the band's whole career. So along those lines, like, did you set out to make it like with different parts of the band's career in mind, or did it just sort of stage you out with life?
Yes and no. I mean, it's obviously clear to us which are particularly important parts of the career and parts of the discography. So knowing that we want to touch on those was clear. It was clear which songs they were and which aspects of sound they were. But it was more so capturing the feel of what those things were and the kind of sonic palette of what they were rather than specific specific moments.
One track that really stands out to me is "Kill It With Fire," which is 1 minute and 6 seconds of pure intensity, mate. Like, well, what's that song about?
I couldn't tell you. I didn't write that one. I didn't sing on that one either. That was all Ben Bruce,
Oh wow!
and it was a last minute addition that he threw into the album. I didn't even know it was there for a long time. So that was, yeah, that's all him. And he pieced that together and recorded that himself and kind of put it in at the last minute.
Wow, it's sort of, yeah, it stands out amongst the rest of it. Like it's a beautiful album on so many levels, and then that one comes and just kicks you straight in the face. It was quite a shock, but it was a good shock.
Thank you very much.
And I think it's quite poignant that the title and the closing track is a beautifully soothing end to Where Do We Go From Here. Like, why did you choose that song to sort of represent the album as a closer?
So that song wasn't supposed to be on the record originally. I wasn't originally wanting there to be a ballad or a slow song on it, purely because that's always the song I love on the album, which doesn't mean it's a great representation of what the album was supposed to be. So I just wanted it to be high energy start to finish. But when we wrapped up, everyone separately and individually called me, basically saying they felt like it was missing the Danny song. And I was actually writing that song already for my next record. So it was kind of on hand and on deck already, and it felt very appropriate, based off conversations we'd had as a band internally for a long time, and kind of different things going on in our lives individually and personally. So it was kind of the universe stepping in and putting that song in front of us at the right time. But yeah, but as soon as I sent it through to everyone, they were very moved by it and wanted it to be the title track, which, feels good.
And I could tell it was a personal song for you too, bro, just by the words "drowning in tequila" that were in there. Because
Yeah,
all know how much you love tequila.
I do.
I mean, I'm not sure if I told you the story or not, but when I was with you in Brisbane show and you had that tequila, Casa Blake, it was beautiful tequila. Yeah, you were drinking anyway. I'd never heard of it before, but
Yeah. That night, I believe it was at the Class Azul,
that was
the
right.
big blue and white bottle.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I remember you
Yeah.
telling me that it was a pretty cheap bottle of tequila. It wasn't that expensive. And a couple of weeks after you went home, I went in and didn't even look at the price tag. I grabbed it off the shelf and bought it, and it was like $180. And that's when I thought, like, your version of not very dear and my version of not very dear are two totally different things.
Well, no. I mean, that is a sliding scale. I've always told people, but no. What it was is the bar we were drinking it at was selling it for so cheap. It is usually an expensive bottle, but they were selling it. I think it was like $3 a shot.
Wow. It's fucking good. You've got me hooked on it anyway, bro. Like every time I go out to buy a bottle of tequila now, I don't feed the kids for 3 weeks.
Well, listen, I'll help you fix that because I have my own tequila now,
Yeah.
and we're not as expensive as them, but we are better. So I can help you.
Where does one get one's hands on those, mate?
Down there, I'm not nowhere yet down there, but I'm working on it.
I've actually I know a guy that runs Grog Lords over here, and they bring over all the Motorhead whiskey and all the Iron Maiden beer and all that.
Awesome.
So I think I've still got your phone number on WhatsApp, bro. So I'll hit him up and I'll see if he's interested. And I'll shoot you a message.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're working on international distribution over the next 3 or 4 months. Hopefully, rolling that out in the new year. Internationally.
Beautiful. So back to the album, bro. Like we've said that it is a culmination of the band's career to date. So in a way, like, are you looking at putting that part of the band's career to bed and moving on with something different now, or is that sort of giving you a refreshed perspective, I guess?
I mean, we've done that with every album ever. We've never put out an album that sounds like the one before it or like any other before it. As much as people kind of like to hold on to certain periods of time and be like, Asking Alexandria definitively sounds like these two albums. It's like, well, those two albums don't sound like anything like each other either. That's always been what we do, but there is going to be a next. There's going to be a change coming. I can't speak on what that'll be because we haven't started that yet, but I think that's just the natural process of this band is we just keep changing and exploring, and what artists or songwriters, that's what we got into this to do, and it's all we really want to do. We're not interested in making the same thing over and over again. Personally, I would rather not make albums. I'd rather not make albums than make 8 of the same fucking record.
Life would be easier, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Before we let you go, mate, have you started up 3 new Spotify playlists based on artists we speak to? So using your own songs, it could be Ask Alexandria, or it could be your solo songs, but give us 3 different songs, one to get the party started, one to save your marriage, and one that could potentially end your marriage.
Oh, Jesus. Getting the party started, I would go Don't Have a Drink It or Feel Like Shit, which is going to be a Danny Worsnop one, because they're party songs.
Yeah.
Probably Don't Have a Drink It would be the one. And if you can keep up with the video, don't, because I can't tell people to do it because I don't want to get sued. But I think I did about 3.5 minutes in that video. It might be more. So there's a pretty strong argument for a party starter. And then to save the marriage, Angels, easy. Also Give You Up, Asking. So one of those 2. And then could end your marriage. I'm gonna have to go with mine again, and it would be actually Save Your Marriage. I'm gonna go Another You, and then that would end your marriage. Probably Love You More.
Thanks, that.
I know it was supposed to be asking, but I write really sad songs, so that's
that's so good, my friend. Now, do you mind if I use the video this interview? I think it'll make a pretty cool one having you in the tattoo shop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, can we have a quick look at what you're getting done?
We are doing a bunch of stuff. We got my tequila down there. We got microphone. We got guitars. We got a whole bunch of stuff going on.
Nice work, brother. All right, Danny. Well, thanks very much for joining us today, mate. Where do we go from here?
Thank you.
And she's an absolute pearler. So take care. Keep drinking tequila, mate, and we'll see you next time you come over.
Inside, I fell for your disguise. Our memories dragging me